Hello, I'm David Kerr and you're watching Shalom World News. Here's your latest news headlines from around the globe. The United States Supreme Court has redefined the meaning of the word sex. That's the damning opinion of the President of the US Conference of Catholic Bishops, Archbishop Jose Gomez of LA. His comments followed the decision by the country's top court to include sexual orientation and transgender status within the definition of workplace sexual discrimination as defined by the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Archbishop Gomez described the ruling as an injustice and warned that it will have implications in many areas of life. He stated that our sex, whether male or female, is part of God's plan for creation and for our lives. He also added that while every person must be treated with respect and dignity, protecting people from unjust discrimination does not require, quote, redefining human nature. Prayer to God and solidarity with the poor are inseparable. That's the message of Pope Francis for this year's World Day of the Poor. The Holy Father released his message on Saturday to begin preparations for the annual event in the Church's calendar that will take place on November the 15th. The theme of the day this year is Stretch Forth Your Hand to the Poor, which is taken from the Old Testament book of Sirach. The motto of the day, said Pope Francis, challenges the attitude of those who prefer to keep their hands in their pockets, and also, he added, those who remain unmoved by situations of poverty. He explained that prayer to God and solidarity with the poor are inseparable because, quote, prayer attains its goal when accompanied by service to the poor. The Holy Father then reiterated that the poor helps each of us to welcome Christ's presence into our daily lives. He proposed that people cannot, quote, feel all right when any member of the human family is left behind or is in the shadows. A date has been announced for the beatification of the Italian teenager Carlo Acutis, who died in 2006 at the age of only 15. He'll be beatified on October the 10th of this year in the Italian city of Assisi. The ceremony will be presided over by the Vatican's Prefect for the Congregation for the Causes of Saints, Cardinal Angelo Becciu. Carlo Acutis was born in London in 1991. He was raised in a loving Catholic family. From an early age, young Carlo was noted for his piety and also for his prodigious computer skills. In fact, he notably combined both passions when he created an online database of Eucharistic miracles from around the globe. In 2006, Carlo was diagnosed with leukemia. He offered his sufferings for both Pope Benedict XVI and for the Universal Church. Following his death in the same year, people from around the globe began to pray to young Carlo for heavenly favours. In February of this year, the Vatican authorised a miracle attributed to Carlo, which related to the healing of a Brazilian boy from a rare congenital disease of the pancreas. It was that miracle which paved the way for his beatification later this year. Poland has this week been celebrating the centenary of the birth of Saint Pope John Paul II with a series of public events. On Sunday, the country's bishops offered Holy Mass at the sanctuary of Saint John Paul II in the southern city of Krakow. That was followed by a celebratory concert featuring the works of Mozart, Bach, Handel and Pergolesi. Present among the bishops was the Archbishop Emeritus of Krakow, Cardinal Stanislav Dziwisz, who was also the long-time personal secretary to the late pontiff. The following day saw the bishops entrust their nation to the maternal care of Mary, the mother of Jesus, at the shrine of the Bernardine Fathers 40 miles to the south of Krakow. It was there that a young Pope John Paul II was taken after the death of his mother in 1929. Then there followed Holy Mass at the Basilica of the Presentation of the Blessed Virgin Mary in the city of Wadowice. That's where Pope St. John Paul II was baptised in June 1920. In his homily, the president of the Polish Bishops' Conference, Archbishop Stanislaw Gadecki of Poznan, said that the apostolic power of Pope St. John Paul II lay in the fact that he taught what he lived and he lived what he taught, especially when it came to prayer, love and forgiveness. Archbishop Anthony Fisher of Sydney in Australia has launched a new centre for evangelization. Named the Sydney Centre for Evangelization, the new entity brings together two previous diocesan agencies. The director of the new centre, Daniel Ang, says he and his team hope to create new partnerships to provide practical support to parishes and communities in their mission of being disciples. He added that the centre aims to invite lapsed Catholics back to the Church while also reaching out to those who do not yet know Jesus Christ with the proposition that they will find their true home with him and within his holy church. The Catholic Church across the United States is preparing to celebrate Religious Freedom Week. The 7 days of prayer, reflection and action is the initiative of the US Conference of Catholic Bishops. It begins on June the 22nd and runs until June the 29th. Each day will see parishes across the land pray for religious freedom in various areas of public life, both in the US and abroad. The week coincides with the feast day on June the 22nd of Saints John Fisher and Thomas More, whose faithfulness to the Catholic Church saw them both executed by King Henry VIII of England during the English Reformation of the 16th century. The USCCB are urging all clergy and lay faithful to participate in Religious Liberty Week. They say that promoting religious freedom promotes the good of all. Well, that's all for now. Do join me next time on Shalom World News. Until then, may God bless you. Shalom.